Welcome back. If you're new here, I am reading One Piece for the first time ever. I'm currently on Fishman Island, but I am trying to get all of my thoughts out here on YouTube. So if anyone is not on TikTok, you can watch them here. And in an effort to help me condense everything and hopefully get caught up on here, I'm going to be talking about the sagas going forward rather than individual arcs. I'll start going individual arcs when I get to Fishman Island, just to help me out a little bit. So now I want to talk about Baratie, Arlong Park, and Loguetown, which are the last three arcs of East Blue. And I loved these when I read them, and I'm so excited to be going back and talking about them a little bit deeper than I did in my TikTok videos, because I genuinely do think that Arlong Park is the one that got me fully hooked when I read it. And when I read it, I knew that I was no longer going to drop One Piece at all. I first want to talk about Luffy because honestly, he continues to shock me as a main character. I knew that he was widely loved, obviously, but I just didn't know how incredible he really, really was until I started to read this. Luffy is exactly my type of character. He is speak first, think never. He's so chaotic. He is just so unshakable in his goal to be king of the pirates, and he's so happy no matter what is happening. And I feel like that is such a different type of character than most shonen anime have. And I love that he's so fun and fearless and so loyal to the people around him. Just truly such a wonderful, wonderful main character. So let's talk about Baratie. We get introduced to our fifth fourth? We get introduced to Sanji, who is going to be the fifth Straw Hat, if I can do math correctly, and he is going to be the cook of our crew. He's a character that at the beginning I was so intrigued by him because he was so cool and just, gave I think I'm better than anyone kind of vibe. And then you get to know him a little bit and you see just how wrong that initial introduction kind of feels. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just the one that kind of saw him like that. Like he's the cool guy, but when you get to find out his background and what he's really for, you really get to love him. Before I talk about Sanji, I want to talk about the main villain of this arc, which is Krieg. And I hated Krieg so much because he was another one that just continues to rule by fear. No one in his crew really actually loves him or respects him. And I feel like that's just something that we keep seeing in these early villains, is that there is no one that is a pirate captain who has a real crew that respects them and respects their mission. And that's so wild to see because we got introduced to Shanks, who kind of set this really high bar of what a pirate crew is supposed to be like, and we are seeing how rare that really is in this world. And it makes Luffy's crew stand out so much because they have only joined Luffy because they believe in him, they believe in what he wants to do, they see how genuine of a person he is, and they really respect him. And you start to see how rare that is in this world. But Krieg, for real, just rules through fear. And that moment when Jin was like, when you fed me, that was the first time someone's been genuinely kind to me. I was like, that tells me exactly everything I need to know about Krieg and what kind of captain he is. And the fact that Jin still went back to him, I was like, why? But anyways, putting that next to Luffy is such a wild contrast. And I think this is just a theme that we're gonna continue to see in how different other pirate crews are from Luffy's. So now let's talk about Sanji's backstory. Oh my fucking god. There should be a cannibalism warning before you start reading One Piece, because what the fuck? I did not know what I was walking into when we start reading this backstory. His story with Baratie and the fact that Zeph ate his own leg in order to stay alive and protect Sanji as a kid, even though he was so indifferent to Sanji in front of him, and yet he was still quietly taking care of him. That was so crazy, and I love to see all of these themes of a found parent. That is fucking what's up. Future Mario here. I had to go take care of my cat because he was trying to eat cardboard. Anyways, so Sanji's backstory. Zeph eating his own foot was such a brutal way to show a good parent or a good guardian, and how much parents give up for their kids or the people that they decide to take care of. And oh my God, I wish that I had words to describe what exactly I was feeling when I was reading this, but I was just utterly shocked because we're seeing all of this through the eyes of a child. Essentially, we're thinking about, the fact that Sanju's what, like 8 to 10 years old in this, and he's thinking that this old man is hoarding all of this food when in reality he had no food and ate his own legs so that Sanji would have some food. All of this does so much for Sanji's character because it adds so much depth to the things that we have seen him do, and the fact that he is always going to be someone that believes no one should be without food, that everyone deserves at least that basic necessity. And oh my God, it was just so emotional. That moment really like drives home that kindness is super, super rare in this world. And it gives the arc so much emotional weight. It's one of those moments that has lived in the back of my mind, since I started reading this. Obviously, I'm pretty far ahead now, but whenever I'm having issues with Sanji, I basically just remember what he has gone through in his life and bring myself to like try and understand him deeper anytime he does something silly. It's not just Sanji that I really loved in this one. There were a lot of really great character moments. I loved the moments between Zoro and Mihawk, and the fact that Mihawk was like, "We'll fight again when you're stronger." I think that it is so interesting to see a villain, a quote unquote villain, not, kill someone that they could kill and essentially say, get stronger and maybe come try to beat me later. He is such an intriguing character that I cannot wait to find more about. I still don't know anything about him. And Mihawk saying that is such a classic like mentor moment, and it foreshadows what happens later on. It's super subtle, but it plants this idea that they will fight again at some point. So it's promising something big without really telling us what it's going to be, and it's not rushing any timelines. And I thought that was really cool. And then Nami leaves, and Nami at this point is still such a mystery to me of a character, even though she's someone that I keep wanting to root for because she's so spunky, she's so individual, she's so just genuinely cool. And the moment that we see that she's gone, I'm just like, Nami, what the hell? I like want you to be, incredible, and I want to love you. And then we get to Arlong Park. So let's talk about Arlong Park because holy fucking shit, what a masterpiece of an arc. This one is still one of the ones that I am constantly thinking about, especially now that I'm at Fishman Island, obviously. But I still don't think I have enough words to convey how good of an arc this was, because I feel like it did such a good job of showing us the themes that we have been continuing to see in One Piece and giving us more information, more world building, new characters introduced, and I just had such a good time reading it because there was so much that was being thrown at me, but it wasn't overwhelming. And oh my God, I still like truly think it was such a masterpiece of an arc. I felt everything possible. I cried like a fucking baby in Nami's backstory. Like I cried so hard. I'm an older sister. I have a single mom. The feels were hit. The character development in this one was incredible and across the board. Like, I feel like everyone had their moment to shine. And thematically, this arc goes heavy. There is so much government corruption, abuse of power, parental sacrifice, trauma, sacrifice. Like, oh my God, just it is such a packed arc, but it was so well done. Like, 10 out of 10, still such like 10 out of 10, like still one of my favorites. First, let's start with Nami. Holy fucking shit. Her backstory is something that I did not think I was gonna see in One Piece. Like, I'm gonna be so honest. When I started One Piece, I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. I avoided One Piece content and media like crazy. I knew nothing outside of the fact that it was a pirate story. Like, truly nothing. I knew Luffy was a character, and that was it. Like, truly, I knew nothing else. And so I went into it thinking, yeah, I'm sure there's some sad parts. Like, I'm sure some stuff is going to make me like clutch my pearls. Brother, was I wrong. because I have cried more in this than I have cried in some of my very depressing books. And Nami's backstory is like beyond heartbreaking. Watching Belmare sacrifice so much for these two kids, and oh my god, I haven't it's been a while since I read this and I feel like I'm gonna start crying talking about it because like that the scene of Belmare is like saying that she loved Nami and Nochiko as she was about to be killed by Arlong is something that is going to forever hurt in my heart. And as we're watching this, everything about Nami like clicks into place and you realize that she's someone that has not trusted anyone in her life because of the fact that she was basically enslaved as a child by fishmen who attacked her village and killed her mom. Fuck. She learned really, really young that to love someone means to lose them. And so she was like, I'm going to take that out of the equation. If I don't get close to anybody, no one can hurt me. At least that's how I see her character at this point. Essentially, she was convinced that being alone meant she was safe. And then Luffy and Co come along and shatter those walls and basically tell her no, it's okay to lean on people and we're the people that you can lean on and we're going to help you and we're going to get this shit done. But continuing to talk about Nami, like, oh my god, the weight of everything that she dealt with is so fucking crazy. Like, to see that she, as a child, spent so much time trying to buy back her village by stealing from pirates, being beat up, being mistreated by Arlong and his pirates. Like, oh fuck, that shit fucking hurt so badly. And I'm seeing a little bit more of it now in Fishman Island, and I just cannot. The fact that this little girl carries such a heavy fucking burden throughout her life and thinks that that is the only way that her life is gonna go is just so fucking depressing. And then here comes Luffy, and she finally breaks down and asks for help, and oh my god, the moment where Luffy puts his straw hat on her is forever ingrained in my mind. Because Luffy just continues to show that he is such a kind and loyal and empathetic character, and he will always be there for his straw hats, and fuck do I love him for it. Minami asking for help is one of the most vulnerable moments that I've seen in a fictional story, and like it was done so well. Like I truly commend Oda for the way that he wrote this one because it is so well done. In this one we see that Luffy's moral compass is so clear. He doesn't see his crew as tools or people to use or people that are just there as stepping stones to his goal of being pirates. He sees them as real friends, real family, as real people to protect and just continue to try and do his best by. And God, I love him. I take a shot every time I say that, apparently. The scene where he destroys the room where Nami lived essentially and where she drew all of the maps for Arlong was so fucking good. And the way that he reacts to Arlong, you know, saying use in regards to Nami, oh my god, chills down to my fucking bones. And then Usopp also really got me here. I think that, you know, Usopp is supposed to show us what it's like to be the normal character, you know, the regular day-to-day dude who's really not powerful. He doesn't have something specifically going for him at this point. And the fact that he in this one starts to realize that all of his friends in the Straw Hats, they all live like they're like every day is their last, and they live to their heart's content, and therefore they can really smile, and he wants to be like that too. He wants to be carefree and have a real reason to smile, and he wants to give it his all in this world that they are navigating. And to see him kind of realize that was really exciting, and I can't wait to see what he does with like his powers. And now I want to talk about the main villain of this fucking arc, Arlong. Holy fucking shit. What a fucking villain. What a fucking dictator. What a fucking piece of shit. Like, his ideology about fishmen being the superior race and about wanting to basically enslave humans and be the all powerful lord essentially is fucking crazy. And I could not stop thinking about real world parallels that we were seeing in some of the things that he was saying. It's crazy how Oda is able to look at world history and take things that have been said by real people and kind of use them in this story. It's wild. And Arlong is just another one that rules through absolute fear, but he actually has people that follow him because they believe in his ideals and they believe in what he's trying to do. And I feel like that is such a good way to show us that, like, a strong, powerful leader with good communication and strong ways of communicating will always have followers, because if you are charismatic and you say the right things, you are going to have people that latch onto your words for no other reason other than they like the vibe that you're putting down, and they then start believing the words that you're saying. So it's not even the words that you're saying that get people, it's the way that you're saying them and the fact that you are exuding confidence. And oh, this is just crazy. At least that's how I see, the Arlong pirates, is they obviously do believe in, like, fishmen being free, but this whole idea that they are superior race, obviously I have more information now that I'm getting on Fishman, but like I said, I'm gonna keep all of this information to what I knew while I was reading this. And this whole thing was just fucking crazy. And then the government corruption that we see in this one through Nezumi was, oh, it made me so angry, because we are we have already seen corruption at the government level here, and the fact that they really don't care about the people that they're supposed to be protecting. And then to see someone who, again, is supposed to be protecting the citizens just take money from a pirate and a fishman and basically say, fuck the villagers because I don't care, I'm getting my share. Ugh, it just fucking drives me nuts. It's really such a sharp critique of power structures and how easy it is to have someone be on the wrong side, essentially. Like, money always talks, in fictional worlds too. But despite all of that, this arc is still filled with a lot of really good things and a lot of beautiful themes of found family and, the parental tropes that we saw from Belmare. And just sometimes, like, these things just hit so hard, like, in such a quiet way. Um, Especially now, kind of going back into this, having read it a couple of weeks ago, thinking back to Nami and Noshiko and Belmare, I really loved everything we saw about them. And I think Belmare is a wonderful parental figure that Nami had and shaped her so much. The village also standing together with going to fight Arlong and his pirates, even if it meant dying, because they know that Nami has been giving up so much for them, and to see them all come together for her was wonderful. I feel like we see so many great depictions of community in this. It is such a well done theme, and I love it. We see the Straw Hats, like, slowly becoming more of a found family, and I think Oda is just doing a really good job of balancing out tragedy and hope. Like, it doesn't feel like anything is too depressing or too happy. It's a really good balance where, you are engaged in everything, because nothing, like, I think sometimes some stories are, like, too happy for too long and you're like, okay, where's the conflict? I need, like, the conflict is what keeps us going. Obviously, we like the drama. And I think Oda just does a really good job of kind of always keeping that balance and always keeping us hooked, wanting for more. So we're, like, constantly feeling the pain, but then we're also feeling, the good and the love, and also, like, the comedy that he sprinkles in through one of our characters doing something dumb. But, like, it's really well done. Just everything that Oda so far has written is great. So I think Arlong Park truly, like, completely raised the bar for One Piece, at least for me, because it proves that this story can be so much more than just the laughs, because it can make you laugh, cry, feel genuine fear for the characters, and then, explore themes in such a way that is not common, because I feel like the themes that we're seeing are kind of subtle and not, like, fully in your face. You do have to critically enjoy this a little bit more to kind of see those themes. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Essentially, by the end of this one, the world is already feeling a lot bigger, and we haven't even entered the Grand Line. So that brings me to the last arc of East Blue, which is Loguetown. Really, really short one, but I think it was a much needed exhale after Arlong Park, essentially. Um, It's packed with world building, great character moments. One of the first things that really shocked me was Luffy's bounty being higher than Buggy's and all the other pirates that we've seen. It's like the world is realizing that Luffy is making waves already, even this early on. And that was just cool. We get to see a tiny glimpse of Shanks, and you know, when I started this and we got introduced to Shanks, I thought that he was going to be like such an integral part of the story, and the fact that we've seen nothing of him yet, I'm just like, okay, come on. I thought you were going to be a bigger part of this. What's going on? When am I going to see more of you? But to see a little glimpse of him had me like so excited and giddy. And even though it was short, it's like another reminder of where Luffy came from and, why he's doing all of this essentially. Shanks really feels like such an emotional anchor for Luffy, and even through like a small moment with him, I think it's really exciting for me as a reader, at least. And there's smaller beats that I love, like Zoro getting the swords from the shop owner, and it was kind of like a quiet recognition of what Zoro's potential is going to be like. And we see Alvida's glow up, which I was like, okay, I mean, she's attractive, but that's kind of crazy. I also unfortunately did like how the Marines were done in this one, because we get to meet Smoker and, oh god, Tashiki, I think was her name. And the fact that they weren't pieces of shit was such a breath of fresh air after the ones that we have seen so far. Um, because Captain Smoker, he's not portrayed as just like flat evil. He seems like he's got a good moral compass to him, and that he actually like wants to make a difference and protect people, which is not something that we've seen at all. Like, he actually helped the little girl instead of being a piece of shit to her, and I just wish more were like that. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself on that, because obviously I have more thoughts considering where I'm at, but I'm going to keep it to that. And then Nami continues to shine here. The fact that she was able to notice like a drop in pressure and like predict a storm that was going to happen kind of shows us how smart she is. And the fact that she was meant to be the ship's navigator and that she is like the brains of the operation. I love to see Nami shine. She is just truly so iconic. And then that final moment where Luffy's about to be executed and he smiles and just shits, and he says just like, I'm shit out of luck. And the fact that that was a call out to how Goldie Roger was when he was going to be executed was so fucking cool. And I feel like that was such a good way to foreshadow that this is where we're going to end up at the end of One Piece. I loved that, Oda. Overall, Loguetown was a super short one. It's like our entrance into the Grand Line. I think it's just meant to be like a stopping point, obviously. Incredibly effective, though, because we get a little glimpse into Shanks, we get to see some other Marines, we get to see a little bit more world building, the fact that some characters that we've met in the past are coming back, and that feels like it's going to be a recurring thing. Obviously, this story is huge, so I feel like everything we see matters, and the crew feels really, really solid, and it feels like we're entering to a shit show. And so that's all I have for East Blue. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Obviously, I have such a good time just yapping about One Piece. It is the absolute love of my life right now. If you are not following me on TikTok, this is my Nami tattoo that I got 2 weeks ago, I think. So yes, I can totally say that I'm obsessed, and this is taking up little every little minute of free time that I have, because it's just that good. So I'll see you when we enter the Grand Line in Reverse Mountain. Bye bye.